Ever feel like you're kind of stuck, in a David versus Goliath kind of situation
Uh-huh.
where you're facing this huge organization and things just feel unfair? Well, that's exactly the kind of scenario that we're diving into today, the world of the ombudsman.
And it's a fascinating world because we're not talking about another lawyer or another cog in the bureaucratic machine.
Right.
An ombudsman is someone who steps in to address those power imbalances, to be a voice for fairness when the odds feel stacked against you.
Okay, so we all sent in a bunch of articles and guides on this ombudsman role, and I gotta be honest, I thought I knew what they did,
hmm
but the more I read, the more intrigued I became. It's like this hidden world of conflict resolution.
Absolutely. And one of the most common misconceptions is that an ombudsman is there to win, for the little guy to take down the big institution.
Right.
But that's not it at all, is it?
Not even close. This RoleCatcher guide I sent over actually hammered that home. It kept using the word impartial, almost like they're referees in a way.
It's exactly.
They're there to ensure a level playing field, to investigate the situation objectively, and help both sides reach a resolution that feels fair and workable.
It's like they're playing 4D chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers.
Of laughter.
What's wild is that they don't even have the authority to make binding decisions, right?
It's true, they don't have that legal hammer,
Yeah.
but, and this is where it gets interesting, their recommendations carry a lot of weight.
Okay.
Think about it. They've built their reputation on being neutral, on understanding the complexities of the system.
Mm.
When they speak, people tend to listen.
Okay, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It's almost like a soft power move.
Yeah.
They're not forcing anyone's hand, but their involvement alone encourages everyone to play fair.
Precisely. And, we often associate ombudsmen with government agencies, which makes sense.
Right.
But the more I researched for this deep dive, the more I realized their reach goes way beyond that.
Wait, really? So we're not just talking about fighting City Hall here.
Whoa.
Where else would you find an ombudsman? Universities are a big one,
Okay.
especially when it comes to student affairs.
Yeah.
Corporations are increasingly bringing them in to handle internal disputes and create a healthier work environment.
Interesting.
We even see them in nonprofit organizations to ensure things are running ethically and transparently.
Wow. I had no idea. It's like anywhere there's potential for a power imbalance, an ombudsman could be valuable.
hmm
But that begs the question, what kind of skills does it take to actually be an ombudsman? Because that sounds like a tough gig.
Yeah. Tough. It's like the ultimate soft skills Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those example profiles we pulled from RoleCatcher?
Yeah.
One ombudsman described their job as part detective, part therapist, part diplomat.
Okay, yeah. That tracks.
Yeah.
So it's not just about knowing the law or the rules, it's about understanding people, right?
100%.
Yeah.
They need that sharp critical thinking to cut through complex situations and analyze information objectively.
Yeah.
But they also need serious emotional intelligence, active listening, empathy, the ability to build trust with people who might be feeling incredibly vulnerable.
And let's not forget the persuasion bit, because you're not laying down the law.
Right.
You're trying to nudge people towards a solution they can all live with.
It's a delicate dance for sure, and that's where the negotiation skills come in.
Right.
You're not there to tell anyone they're wrong.
Mm.
You're there to find the common ground, that sliver of understanding where everyone can walk away feeling like they were heard.
Man, and I thought my job was tough.
Laughter.
So how do you even get into this line of work? It's not like there's an ombudsman major in college.
Not yet, at least.
Right.
But RoleCatcher did a great job of breaking down the career path.
Okay.
Seems like most folks start at the entry level, maybe assisting a more senior ombudsman,
Yeah.
doing research, prepping case files, that kind of thing.
There's lots of learning on the job, seeing how the magic happens firsthand.
Exactly. And as you gain experience, you move up to handling less complex cases independently.
That's the junior ombudsman level, really honing those conflict resolution skills, building your network, and getting comfortable with the mediation process.
Okay, so you're basically leveling up your conflict resolution XP points.
After.
What about when you reach the peak, the final boss level? What does a senior ombudsman's world look like?
Think high stakes, high impact.
Oh, wow.
They were dealing with the most sensitive disputes, often involving people in positions of power, and that adds a whole other layer of complexity.
So not only do you need to be incredibly skilled at navigating those interpersonal dynamics, but you also have to understand the political landscape, the organizational structures, all that jazz.
Precisely. And the really fascinating part is that senior ombudsmen don't just resolve disputes, they often end up shaping how those disputes are handled in the future.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
They're in this unique position where they see the patterns, the systemic issues that lead to conflict.
So they might work on improving internal processes, creating new policies, or even advocating for broader systemic change to prevent similar issues from arising in the first place.
So they're like conflict whisperers. They can sense the tension building and step in before things even reach a boiling point.
That's a great way to put it, and it's that ability to see the big picture, to connect the dots, and drive positive change that makes the senior ombudsman role so impactful.
This is blowing my mind. Okay, but this
go.
all begs a huge question. Why is this role, this whole world of ombudsmen, suddenly feeling so relevant?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And honestly, I think there are a few layers to unpack here.
Okay.
On one hand, our world is just getting more complex.
Yeah.
We're more interconnected than ever. Technology is moving at warp speed. It's a breeding ground for disputes, unfortunately.
And on the other hand, traditional systems like going through a lengthy legal process are becoming increasingly costly and time-consuming.
Right.
People want fairness, but they also want solutions that are accessible and efficient.
Exactly. And that's where ombudsmen really shine.
Okay.
They offer a less adversarial, more collaborative approach.
Yeah.
Plus, as that RoleCatcher report pointed out, there's a growing awareness of the need for conflict resolution skills in all areas of life.
Right. It's not just about big corporations and government agencies anymore.
Right.
We're seeing that trickle down to universities, workplaces, even online communities.
Exactly. And I think that's what's so fascinating about this deep dive.
Yeah.
It's not just about understanding a single job title. It's about recognizing a fundamental shift in how we approach conflict and fairness.
It's like we're hardwired for conflict, but craving fairness at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that really struck me while going through these sources, especially that piece on AI and automation,
Yeah.
was this question. Could the ombudsman role actually expand to address those new tech-driven disputes?
Whoa, you're going full cyberpunk on me now. But you know what? It makes total sense. We're already seeing headlines about algorithmic bias, data privacy issues. It's like the Wild West out there.
It is. And who better to navigate that complex landscape than someone trained in impartiality and conflict resolution?
Right.
Imagine an algorithm ombudsman who ensures fairness in AI-driven decisions,
Wow.
or a data ombudsman who safeguards our digital privacy. The possibilities are mind-boggling.
Okay, that's both fascinating and a little terrifying at the same time.
Right.
But it speaks to something we touched on earlier, this idea that the ombudsman role isn't static. It's evolving with the times.
Absolutely. And that's why I think this deep dive is so relevant for our listener.
Okay.
It's not just about understanding a job description. It's about opening our eyes to new ways of addressing conflict and ensuring fairness in an increasingly complex world.
So if our listener is thinking, okay, this is all very insightful, but what does it mean for me? Why should I care about ombudsmen?
Yeah.
What's the key takeaway here?
To me, it's about empowerment. It's about knowing that you have options, even when you're facing a Goliath.
Yeah.
If you're feeling powerless, if you think the system is rigged against you, remember that the ombudsman role exists.
It's like having a secret weapon, a champion for fairness in your back pocket.
Exactly. And it's not just about individual empowerment.
Right.
Think about the organizations themselves.
Okay.
When they have ombudsmen in place, it fosters a culture of fairness, transparency, and accountability.
It's like building a reputation for doing the right thing, which in turn attracts the best talent, builds trust with stakeholders, all of that good stuff.
Precisely. And ultimately, it creates a more harmonious and productive environment for everyone involved.
Wow. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground today, from those David versus Goliath situations to the rise of the cyber ombudsman. It's been quite the journey. But if there's one final thought, one juicy question we could leave our listener with, what would it be?
How about this? Where might you encounter situations in your own life where having an ombudsman would be beneficial? And I don't just mean those big headline-grabbing scenarios.
Right.
Think smaller, closer to home.
Ooh, I like that. It's easy to think of ombudsman as this distant concept.
Yeah.
But you're right, the principles apply on a much more personal level, too.
Exactly. Could your workplace benefit from having someone who mediates disputes fairly? What about your child's school? Even that online gaming community you're part of? The possibilities are endless.
It's about recognizing that we all have a role to play in creating a fairer world, and sometimes it starts by asking, what if we had an ombudsman for that?
And who knows, you might just be the one to champion fairness in your own corner of the universe.
Now that's a thought to ponder. Thanks for taking this deep dive with me. Until next time.